Meeting called to order.
Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilman Asbill.
Present.
Councilman Bunny.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnson.
Present.
Councilman Ricks.
Present.
Mayor Bodier is absent. Police Chief Green is absent. The city attorney Secretary is absent. Myself, Karen Hughes, as clerk, is present. Did you have any type of mayors announcements?
No mayor's announcements.
Okay, we have special presentations, and we have Mr. John Young.
Good evening, members of the council. I want to thank y'all for having me here today. I very much appreciate it. I want to tell you that it's a credit to each of you, the mayor, the chief of police, the men and women of the Harahan Police Department, that you live in such a great, safe city with good quality of life. So compliments to y'all on that. Keep up the good work. I want to thank former Chief Tim Walker and Councilman Johnson for arranging for me to come here tonight, and thank y'all for agreeing to have me here tonight. I'll try to make my comments short. For those of y'all who don't know me, I grew up in Harahan. I spent my formative years in Harahan, and when I moved out to Harahan, McHugh, there was no Donlin, there was a dairy farm at the end of McHugh Street, and there was nothing between McHugh and Imperial Woods. It's a great place to grow up. I worked at Colonial Country Club, which isn't there anymore, but Harahan is still a great place, and it's a compliment to y'all. So, again, my name's John Young. A little bit about me. I'm a lifelong resident of Jefferson Parish, father of 5 sons. I'm a social and fiscal conservative. I'm an attorney by profession. Don't hold that against me. Nobody likes attorneys until they need one. But in addition to my private civil practice of law, I also had the privilege and honor of serving the citizens of Jefferson Parish as an assistant DA and prosecutor, as councilman at large, and as parish president. During my tenure as councilman at large and parish president, I went through Katrina, Rita, Gustav, Ike, the BP oil spill, Tropical Storm Lee, and Hurricane Isaac. So I know how to act and react before, during, and in the aftermath of a storm. In fact, I'm the only candidate in this race for Public Service Commission that's actually held a utility company accountable. After Isaac, there was a slow response by Entergy. Called them out, then we worked together to solve that problem. So I'm not afraid to take stands that need to be done in order to get people's power back safely and quickly. I'm also the only candidate in this race that's actually managed a major parish government. And during that period of time, we had a budget of nearly $750 million. I was responsible for supervising over 3,000 employees. We increased, together with the council, Paul Johnson was on the council when I was parish president, Jefferson Parish Council. We increased the level of services to the citizens of Jefferson Parish. We delivered them more effectively and efficiently through the use of technology. We created the first Office of Inspector General to combat waste, fraud, and abuse. We maintained the highest bond rating in the state, and we increased the reserves in the general fund. And we did all of that. We did all of that without any new taxes. I'm the only candidate who has managed a major parish government. I'm running for Public Service Commission to make sure that we continue to have safe, reliable, and affordable power at the lowest rates possible. A lot of people don't realize this, but actually Louisiana has the lowest base rates in the Southeast United States and the second lowest in the United States. Now, base rates, somewhat confusing. We do have higher energy bills because we have the highest consumption rate per capita because of our extreme weather conditions. I'm also running at this time because Louisiana, I think, is at a transformational point in terms of economic development. Billions of dollars are being invested in Louisiana as we speak, and more to come. Probably next week there'll be another announcement with the investment of the AI data centers, but also Hyundai Steel and Venture Global. But what we have to do, and what I'm committed to do, is we have to do it correctly, and we have to make sure that these AI companies, which are the wealthiest companies in the world, pay their own way. And by that I mean they pay for any added infrastructure and they pay for their own power supply so that those costs aren't shifted to you and me. In other words, it's not shifted to any residential customers, business, or any existing ratepayers, whether it be business, commercial, industrial, or residential. That's my commitment to you. In the future, I think we have to look at nuclear and in particular small modular reactors because we have to diversify our energy sources. We've been blessed with cheap natural gas, but as you know right now, and during that winter storm, the prices fluctuate, and so if we have a diverse energy source, we can manage that better so that those costs aren't passed on to us, which happens when they hit you with that surcharge. So we have to also strengthen and harden the grid against weather events and also cyber attacks. But my commitment also to you is because I've come from local government, I will be there to work with you. I will be accountable and accessible, and I'll work with all local government officials. I'll have my cell phone number. In fact, I'll give it to you right now, 504-352-8855. It hasn't changed since 2000. And I will be there with you, standing shoulder to shoulder, to make sure we restore our citizens' power as safely and quickly as possible after any event. In closing, I'd like to tell you that if you value experience, proven leadership, and proven results, I'm your candidate. My name's John Young. It's number 44 on the ballot. And I again appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. And I'd ask for your consideration and vote. Voting is on May 16. Early voting starts on May 2nd through May 9th. So thank y'all very much. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I don't want to take up any more of your time. But I want to again thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you for your service and thank you for your willingness to continue to serve. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Okay, approval of minutes, reading of the minutes of the council meeting on March 19th, 2026.
Move to dispense with the reading of the minutes. Motion to dispense the reading of the minutes. All in favor?
Motion by Asbill, second by Riggs. Is there anybody want to address?
Anyone want to address the council? No one wishes to address the public hearing. Now closed.
Call the roll.
Call for vote.
Yay.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on March 19th, 2026.
Public hearing open. No one wishes to speak at public hearing.
Make a motion to approve the meeting.
Second. Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yeah.
Communications, we have none. Resolutions, proposed resolution 2026-4. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Harahan, Louisiana, accepting the contract with TEH Enterprises LLC for the Harahan wastewater treatment plant slab for a new centrifuge as being substantially complete. Need to defer.
I'm going to make a motion to defer because it's not substantially complete.
I just laid the pedestals this week. That was one of the things.
I'd like to make a comment, and I'm glad to defer it. Well, we've had some ordinances for first reading without complete documentation. And part of the reason, I believe, for having an introduction for the first reading is so we and the public know what we're approving. I don't think we should put anything on here, even put it on the agenda, unless we have the engineer's report to attach. So going forward, and I know we try to fast forward these things, but if we don't have the engineer's report, then it's not even ready to put on the agenda.
So I'm going to interrupt Mr. Buddy. I believe this needs to be put on the agenda, and if we got to keep deferring this, as soon as this is approved, we need to get this done and approved ASAP to eliminate the issues we have at the sewer plant. I agree what you're saying for the most part, but at this point here, if it was approved yesterday, I'd be asking us to approve it.
But I mean, the issues at the sewer plant require work to be completed.
Correct.
So the work must be very near complete, substantially complete. Because that's when you get the engineer's
Just for the
report.
pad, once we get that engineer's report, then we can set the equipment.
Right. but
So I don't wanna hold it up an extra month if we gotta wait for it to
You can begin
complete.
setting the equipment without finalizing this on the contract. This is a legal contractual issue where you have to record with the clerk
State, yes.
substantial completion, and it has to do with final payment. And I don't want to hold up final payment to a contractor if their money's due and they've done it right. But we do this with other matters also.
Agree.
Eric, and I'd like to see us, when we put a package out for first reading, I'd like it to be complete. I'd like people to know, not just a sentence, but if there's any supporting documentation that's going to follow it, that we would have it. And that's just my recommendation. I think that would be the, in keeping with, I believe, the reason for having an ordinance for first reading is to notify us as councilmen, future councils, and the public, the big picture, not just the piece of it.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, they don't get it until they get here that night. The public doesn't see it until they get here that night.
Agreed.
and I will make a comment, and I know it's been done in the future, so it's not an excuse, and you're right, it should not be done unless it can be avoided. But the submission deadline was moved up a little bit because of the advertising of deadline of the millage resolution. So some of the things that would have been submitted on time were not submitted on time because of the advertising deadline for the millage resolution.
Well, I understand that, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it, and as a general.
But you're right, it's not
As a
the
general
first
rule,
time.
I'd like to see a package, complete package, so we and the public know, we don't have to ask questions, we know what we're considering for the next vote, and the public knows what we're considering for the next vote.
I agree.
And if there's an exception, an urgent matter, we'll deal with that, appropriately.
Yes,
There's
sir.
always exceptions, appropriate exceptions. Thank you, that was just my comments.
Second defer.
Motion deferred by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, no nays.
Okay, proposed resolution 2026-5. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Hasbill. A resolution adopting the 2026 millage rates. And I have to read them out. So that would be the constitutional general alimony would be a millage of 4.1. The 1977 general alimony would be 1.61 mils. 1982 general alimony would be 2.34 mils. Sewerage maintenance tax would be 0.88 mils. Fire protection, construction, and maintenance would be 5 mils. Sewage construction and maintenance would be 3 mils. Police payroll, benefits, and expenses would be 5 mils, and that would be a total tax of 21.93 mils.
Open for public hearing? No one wishes to speak at public hearing, close public hearing?
Council,
Council?
this is just a renewal. We rolled forward last year, so this is the same exact millage rate that was assessed last year.
Y'all not gonna know this, I know y'all not, because we haven't, no.
Thanks for your confidence.
I'm not even gonna say anything, because
Move to approve.
You,
Move to approve.
let me say, we have a general alimony, it's set at 7 mils. And over the years, we've reduced the general alimony down to 1.61 and 2.34. Anytime we want to now you can ask, they may have changed the law, because I don't know, but we could raise that back to 7 mils one day. We did it back in the 90s when it was down, and we raised it back to 7 mils. But I know, we don't want to add no mills to the citizens. I'm just telling y'all this. Y'all might want to check on it. Eric, you might have them check on it. It may have changed the law. But I know back in the day, we had because we only had like 12 mills back in, when we had a $1.9 million budget back in the 90s, when we were struggling with money. We rolled the mills. We went and raised the alimony, general alimony millage up. But the city's allowed to do that. You don't have to bring it to the people, the voted people.
Can I ask
General
you,
alimony.
can I ask you a question, and I don't know the answer to it? If you add up the first 3 general alimonies,
Right.
it adds up to 8.05, or you're saying the second 2 were 7?
I think it's the second two. That's what I want you to check on.
We gotta double check.
It's been a long, that's 30 years ago. I'm talking about the 90s.
Listen,
I know we did.
I think it's fair to say that 1.6 .10 millage was never approved, so it was not moved forward. There is some probably millage that could be moved forward. But Councilman, I hope you're right to give some flexibility should it ever be needed. But I served on the committee with the parish once, and you appointed me when you were Jefferson Parish Councilman. And we specifically discussed that question with the parish attorney at the time and told that you can't roll it forward. But what I'd recommend is, Carrie, if you would
Check it.
address this with Scott, because it's an important issue, and we ought to get a current definitive answer.
I know we did it back in the 90s. They may have changed it because
They may have.
it took a little.
We don't want to do it. We just
No,
want to
I'm
know the
just
rules
saying,
in
but
case
at the
we-
time, we only had like 12, 13 mills, and the city was struggling. And I was, you know, like I said, it's 30 years ago, and I just remember somehow or another we did this, somehow or another we did something. Would y'all check into it? We may not be able to do it, but I'm just mentioning this to you.
Yeah, I'd like to
So
know the
if
answer.
we can't do it, we can't do it, but I'm not saying to do it, I'm not saying to do it, I'm just saying, check into it and see. Right now, we got 21 mills, that's better than we had, back in the night, we had like 13 mills, so. And the mill was only a mill was only $50,000 or $40,000, now a mill's over $100,000. You know, you're talking about much difference in money.
Thank you. Move to approve.
I got a motion to approve Councilman Asbill.
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, no nays.
Okay, we have no ordinances for approval, ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain, proposed ordinance 2026-4, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Harahan to establish provisions with respect to the commencement time of regular meetings of the city council. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill, proposed ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance to sell and/or auction property owned by the municipality of the city of Harahan, providing for the procedure to be utilized pursuant to the provisions of Louisiana Revised Statute 334712, which provides for the sale, exchange, or lease of property by a municipality.
I'll ask for a quick point of order, council, on your dais. This is one of the, I was pre-excusing my late submission here when I was discussing earlier. We do have an auction list that was submitted by the auction organizer today. And I would like to just point that out, and I'd also like to instruct the clerk, if the council's okay with it, to go ahead and add it to this month's packet, so that it's available for the full month before we get to the next month's meeting.
I'm sorry, so to add it to this packet.
To add it to this packet
So we
online,
can consider
so the public can see it
next
for the
meeting?
next month.
Yeah, I'm good, fine with that. We haven't voted?
I mean, I don't think we have to vote on it, I'm just, I
Okay.
think it could just be an instruction. Thank you.
Okay. We have no old business, new business number 1, monthly financials.
Good. Not necessary, but what I'd like to hear, so I can be thinking about is, what is the logic of moving the meeting from Monday to a Thursday? And the time, I'm sorry, Thursday to Monday, and why 5? I think 5 p.m.? Is that,
I'm against both of them, so
well, I was just curious what the logic was. I'm not,
I'll wait till the next meeting to
So,
discuss
yeah,
it.
yeah, I mean, I think we
That's
should
fine.
discuss it at the next meeting,
That's
but I
fine.
mean, I'm open for phone calls.
that's fine.
I talked to him yesterday. Was he yesterday or today?
Monthly financials, I'd like to introduce Walter Olaf. He's handling our budget items with the city finance, new contractor for the city finance. He can come up and give us a statement.
First of all, good evening, councilmen and citizens. My name is Walter. Again, thank you for introducing me, Councilman Chatelain. I'm here to provide additional transparency, information, and insight to our city's financial position, as well as all other relevant analytics requirements. So going forward, you can expect to see and hear from me more regarding any of the city finances and also any general data purposes. The city actually collects a lot of data, and I think it's been a huge disadvantage in the past that we have not utilized this information. Most recently, I think there was a contingent of councilmen that went up to DC Mardi Gras a couple of months ago, and we did a land use study of what we could potentially do with moving the fire department here in the city and potentially adding additional revenues. That was presented to Senator Kennedy, Senator Cassidy, Kennedy and Cassidy, which is a little bit more challenging, and then Representative Scalise. So anything that we need from a finance or information perspective, anything that's data relevant, I'm your guy. I will give you all my personal phone number by the end of tonight if you don't already have it. And I look forward to answering any of your questions. It's not only my privilege, it's my absolute obligation. And I look forward to continuing working with the city and driving us to a more transparent and data-driven and informed municipality. So at this time, is there any additional questions or anything that we could field for right now?
Just thank you.
Love to have your contact information, email.
Absolutely. We'll and just keep an eye out on your city.council email addresses. You'll see the first quarter roll-up of what we've done from a financial position. I've also included a forecast for the remainder of the year. Also with my forecasting methodology, there'll be just kind of an additional white paper explaining how I came up to those figures. Going forward for the rest of this year, we'll have each department actually provide a forecast for the remainder of the year, and we'll develop our city's first long-range plan. So it'll be a 3-year long-range plan to actually say, what do we need as a city, so that way we can start preparing for it now, and that we don't have issues arise at a certain time that we are either not funded or we're overfunded for. So that's kind of what we're moving from a directional standpoint. So that'll all be included in the email, and again, looking forward to working with every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Address the council.
Anyone wish to address the council?
Mike Kiddock, Harahan Senior Center. He just, Walter
Yes.
said something. I'd like to know if he could meet with us at the Senior Center and kind of go over the budget and, you know, I mean, what we got, so we can understand it. It's kind of hard sometimes if you're not, I'm requesting to meet with him.
I'm sure we can take that.
Okay? I mean, as long as he don't mind. Okay. All righty. This is our April update. The center's interest is increasing every day. We are adding members each week. We are still providing daily meals and activities, as well as our volunteers-run thrift store. We have some rentals on the books. We're still trying to get more rentals. Again, thanks for the bathrooms to Kurt Talbot and to John Hill for getting the money for the seniors' bathroom and everybody else that's helping with that. I talked to the contractor this afternoon, and he wants to come look at a couple things. I think he signed a contract today with y'all, and looking forward to getting that done for the seniors. We might have to do a little manipulation and maybe get a portalet for a couple of weeks out there, depending on what's going on and all of that. I'm not gonna have any rentals for while he's working. He's supposed to get with me tomorrow and tell me exactly when he can start and how long it's gonna be. So, yeah, we're trying to get it started as quickly as possible because we do have toilets and urinals out of commission. And we have a few other items that we had talked to Councilman Chatelain and Asheville about helping us out with. We're having a rummage sale with all our surplus donations that we get, and our volunteers are doing a major job. Please come on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 15th, 17th through the 17th, and shop at our bargains. We would request to put up signs to advertise it. And tomorrow is our Free Food Fund Friday.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Huh?
Can I interrupt you for a second? Is there still a polling location at the senior center?
Yes.
You know that's an election day, right?
Yeah, we got that all taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got nerve like.
No, we put it in a different part of the building with a bathroom and everything else. We've done it before.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully some of the people that are going to vote will walk in there and buy something too.
Hopefully some people coming to buy things will go vote too.
Hey, there you go. Works both ways. To get back to on our Free Food Fund Fridays tomorrow at 1 o'clock. All of y'all invited. Y'all heard that many times. I hear the food's gonna be pretty good, and come visit our seniors. You'll be in good company with them. Y'all will appreciate seeing y'all, and if you can make it, great. It starts at 1 o'clock. And again, I'd like to thank John Ilg and Kurt Talbot for the money they got that we had requested, and for the bathrooms. And thank all of y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Spike, give me a call tomorrow. I have a friend of mine who distributes his air-conditioned bathroom trailers. Maybe we could ask him about doing something like that rather than
Okay. Yeah, we can use all of that. Okay? Anybody? Oh, by the way, we bought new chairs for the senior center. Some of y'all know, some of y'all seen. A couple of y'all have actually gave us donations for some chairs. And we appreciate it. If anybody else would like to donate any money for the new chairs, or come at least just come by and see them, you're more than welcome. And if I can help you in any way, 504-416-8079. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Eric, could you give us a little update on the contract that's been executed for the bathroom renovation at the senior center?
I don't have the contract with me. I believe it's the one that we had in the last council meeting. Do we have a packet?
No.
So,
I read the contract. I'm not saying.
Okay, I'm just saying, just what's the status of it? It's been
It's
executed?
starting.
so it was just signed this week.
Wonderful.
The check was cut for the 50% deposit, which is fine because that's what we got from the state as well, 50%. And so they're hoping to start, I know he said he could definitely start on May 4th. He's hoping to start earlier depending on his subs, if his subs can start earlier. And I know Spike's talking with him about working through the weekend, working overnight, things like that, so that they can be open as much as possible and not interrupt business at the senior
So
center.
yeah, once we signed the contract, we got the deposit down. We're gonna let him deal directly with Spike to make sure they coordinate the time and scheduling.
Well, great, and thank you guys for running up the ground and getting it done.
Anything else I can do to answer for y'all?
No, appreciate you bird dogging it.
All
So
right.
it's basically gonna be, the bathroom's gonna be basically a complete renovation, new flooring,
Well,
new
it's
sinks.
gonna actually, it's gonna have all brand new toilets. The urinals aren't being changed because they're elderly people urinals. We're changing all the guts and the valves, because you can't buy those anymore, and it's not around, it comes out. So, it's better.
Could be high toilets for handicapped people.
Yeah, all handicapped, everything's gonna be
A
handicapped.
day? A day?
No,
Mr. Paul, we definitely thought about you when we ordered this,
You thought about me, I'm good, thank you.
the seniors.
but anyway, one other thing I might want to mention, I got a friend that knows the state fire marshal, and he's gonna try to come beginning of next week. There's a situation of the stalls being a couple inches, might have to be moved back, cut. He's saying because it's grandfathered in, but he wants to come out and look at it, so we'll have something in paper saying that it's okay, or we gotta do it. And, one way or the other, we'll get it fixed and get it all taken care of. And, yeah, basically, everything with the ceiling is being something done with, changed or whatever. New vanities, new mirrors, new faucets, all new valves, all new cutoffs, all new everything.
And I mean, the sewage works.
The sewer does, we've,
Inspected?
we've had it flushed, everything in the building, keep flushing it like 5 or 6 times, and everything just keeps going, so it's not a problem with the drain.
Right.
But the pipes are being changed in the wall.
Right.
Because we're going from 3 sinks to 2 sinks. So ladies can put their purse on the side of the sink. Right now, it's so cluttered, they can't do that. So we're gonna go with 2. We're gonna have new mirrors in there, new lighting.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name is William Morgan. I live at 25 Bellevue Street. All the improvements to the senior center is great. Unfortunately, you have to drive right past probably the worst eyesore I've ever seen in Harahan. We have to do something about that. I mean, it's going to start bringing down our house values and all that.
What,
I know-
excuse me, sir, what is the eyesore?
Trucks, tow truck,
The old Whitney.
Bank.
right by the old Whitney, thank you. I mean, it's all over. They got steel beams on the other side, on the back side of the bank, where the drop-throughs were for the bank. They dug a trench along the side. It's not covered up. It's an accident waiting to happen for a child, and we don't want that, okay? Plus, you want to brag, you want to show off the senior citizen center. You drop off the highway, that's your first view, right there.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. It's just not right. I understand if the man doesn't have a place to store it, he's got to do something better.
It's not the city of Harahan's problem.
One-
You should not neglect from that. Code enforcement is here, Mr. Chris. They are cited and they are coming to court on May.
On May 7th at 5 o'clock.
So we are on top of it. It's not a fast process, but
I
it's in
understand.
the process. He is scheduled to come to court.
I understand.
The guy that owns the property, I think we did some research. Every piece of property has a different mailing address to locate it.
Okay. All right, I
It's
understand.
being addressed and
Now, the other problem, it's a situation, I hope it doesn't become a problem. We have electric scooters, electric bikes. Just this afternoon, and I'm talking not a half hour ago, electric bike on the left. If he wasn't going 40, he wasn't moving. And speed, there's a big sign, 5 miles an hour, but where all the dump trucks come out. Not a chance. I had my grandson up there the other day flying a kite. I saw a bike in the distance toward New Orleans. Didn't think nothing of it, we flying a kite. Turn around, I said, well, let me check back. Well, thank God it did, because he was on us. And it's an electric bike. Every day, he's on top of that lever. Every day. Thank God I turned around in time, because at that speed, there's nothing to do. I got a 3-year-old son, I got a 3-year-old grandson, I don't want him dead. Also, I was driving down Jefferson Highway, hit Colonial, and I'm driving to go to Charles where I work at, and something caught my eye out the right side, and I looked, and here comes a young boy. This boy cannot be more than 15 years old on an electric bike. And I slowed down, they had the green light, started to slow down, wanted to get in the left lane, couldn't. So I slowed down. He proceeded to make a right turn on the Jefferson Highway on the shoulder. Never stopped for a red light, never slowed down, just kept on going. Same thing on 9th Street and Oak, coming from the playground back there, coming across like that. I happened to look and I saw something flash, and it was a kid with his backpack on, his baseball backpack on, with the bat sticking up. Had I not seen that bat in that, he was on an electric scooter right across the stop sign. What I'm saying is, I understand sometimes it's a relief for a parent not to have to take your child to the playground like that, let them ride an electric bike or an electric scooter. They don't understand the laws of the road. We're gonna end up with a child dead. I mean, dead. Now, how do we explain that? Next thing you know, we have Morris Barton, his crew up in here. And we obeying the law. Just because they don't have 4 wheels doesn't mean they should be doing this. They do it around the playground. I've seen one on the walking track with an electric scooter, riding up down a walking track.
Have you contacted the levy board, brother?
No, I have not contacted the levy board.
No, I'll make that call.
I really appreciate that.
And I'll also inform the chief.
I understand it's their authority up there. I understand that, okay? How are you gonna explain that to a Harahan parent when your child's underneath the wheels of
Well,
something?
if they don't know, then
Yeah.
they need to know.
So I spoke to the chief today, and like I said, it's a lot of the parent. It's a lot of it's a parenting issue. The kids, a lot of these kids are old enough; they do know better. But I mean, everyone makes mistakes. But it's the saying that it's going to cost somebody's life before something's done. I spoke to the chief. He said they do get phone calls. They do address them. They can't be everywhere all the
I
time.
understand.
He did say that he does not have the legislation to push this really hard. He pulled up some code. I was gonna get with Councilman Asbill, city attorney, and see if we could address some of these issues. He spoke to Kenner, Gretna, Westwego. They're all having the same problem. So he said the chiefs are gonna try to get together and see if they could come up with something to help us put some paperwork together where we can force these a little more. I mean, how do you stop this kid and address it to the kid when it's a minor? You need to address the parents. So we're gonna work on something to see what we can do to help move this process. I mean, we've all seen it. I mean, everybody in here has seen these kids on these bikes. I mean, I've seen kids probably 8 years old ride a big electric bike. They can't stop, they can't touch the ground. They fall in the street right in front of me as well. Luckily, I stopped, I talked to the kid, found out who his parents are, called his parents. I said, it's your fault. You need to buy him a smaller bike. The kid doesn't need to be riding a big bike like this. You know, and the parent was very nice about it. They could have went very bad. I mean, no parent wants you to tell them how to raise their kid. You know, but at some point, I mean, your kid's in danger.
Yeah.
And we all looking out for the
I mean,
kids.
they scoot around the playground when they, you know.
Oh, they ride around the gym, just around the gym.
They ride around,
Cars
the cars are backing out, you can't see everything. Yeah, it's a bad situation.
I appreciate you
Thank you for
coming here.
hearing me out.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you.
Willie, when you see him at the playground on the walking track,
Yes.
call the police department. Don't dial 911 for an emergency. Just
Oh,
call
no,
the police
I'd rather
department
get
and
a
tell
hold of
them
the parent.
to go out there.
And stop
They're gonna
the problem
recommend,
at the
police is gonna
source.
recommend 911.
Call 911 to tell them that they got a kid on a bike on this.
I'm just going by what the
do what
police
they tell-
recommend. I mean,
Call
I
911.
don't agree with it 100%, but call 911, it's a recorded call.
What happens is there's a exit. There's a, I don't know about a fence back there, there's a way to get through that fence, to go back into the neighborhood, short, rather than go around, up Columbia Club, they'll cut and go.
So
through
there is a
fence.
roundabout back there.
There-
So they shouldn't be able to get the bikes through there today. They can, I mean, I brought my bike through there, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you gotta stand it up and kind of squeeze it through to get through. So they can't just zip through there. But I don't think we wanna close the fence off completely. I think that's just.
As people come from Royland to walk through, they're going to walk
Correct.
track.
Now, we did get complaints, the kids were riding the scooters along the canal bank. They had an open fence by Royland Playground, they were riding all the way to the Soliat Playground with another broken fence. So maintenance did fix that, I wanna say the beginning of last week. And I do know that people who live right there, and they will notify us if the kids cut it loose again.
Yeah, I don't wanna
So
see it
some of these things are being addressed, and, I mean, I went back there and looked, I mean, it's a nice spot, a nice straight spot to go flying, but if you run off, you know, it's only 6 feet wide, you run into that canal, you got problems.
Yeah, and I had seen a reflection, because I'd stopped and started to proceed across, and I'd seen it was, I mean, no stopping or anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
Okay.
Anyone else wish to address the council?
Thank you, Willie.
All right, Bob.
It's good, man.
Thanks a lot.
Everything you said is true.
Hello, everyone. Carol Barker, LaGreca, 101 West Imperial Drive, Harahan. I just wanted to make a comment on this issue, and I just thought of something that, well, actually with someone else, but if we're having an issue with the children on the bicycles and things like that, maybe we could have a program set up in the schools here where an officer or someone could come out and during PE or something like that, they could explain, you know, what the hazards are and the protocol and things like that. I mean, we do it for other things and, you know, safety and drugs and stuff like that. So maybe it could be something that we could implement in the schools and have like, you know, a little actual program written up for them with bicycle safety and the difference between what an electric bike is compared to a scooter, compared to a regular bicycle, and what the different rules are and the safety for them. And really, if we get them young enough, maybe we can teach them responsibility at a young enough age before a serious accident happens.
I like the idea. I will talk to, we have a local business owner who owns a bike shop in New Orleans. I can talk to them and see if they're available to come help with that. I'm not saying that needs to be a police officer issue, you know, but we can have someone else address that through the city. And maybe
Okay.
set that up, and I do appreciate the suggestion.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? Close, address the council.
All right, Secretary's report for March 2026, total revenue $725,343.03. Reports.
Chief Laprise absent, Councilman Askew.
Thank you. I just want to, there's a lot of focus on recreation throughout the parish, so I wanted to give a little update on Harahan Recreation. I asked Coach Earl to pull me some numbers, some registration numbers, and I've got those here. Basketball, which is a fall sport, had 106 registrations. Track, which just finished up, had 40 registrations. Soccer, which just finished, had 134 registrations. A couple of parish champs. There's 4 kids on the 9 and 10 that went to the All-Star, the JPRD All-Star team, and won the state championship. Softball, T-ball, and baseball, which are currently going on. Softball has 120 registrations. T-ball has 140 registrations, and baseball has 151 registrations. So recreation in Harahan is strong, probably the strongest it's been in quite some time.
Those numbers sound
Since
tough.
I've been around, I think yes, those are up considerably.
Good.
So in addition to our programming, we of course we're working on redoing some of our parks. We finished Royal Land Park just yesterday. We seems like we're always adding something, but we just finished everything that's going over there yesterday, I think. There's a new sign that's up and a couple of some permanent in-ground cornhole boards for your use at the pavilion, and some new benches that went up that were donated by Pelican Playground. So that's great. And then also we're coming in August. We just finished the plan to rebuild the play set in August at Sonyak Playground. They're going to start on that. We signed all the plans. We've got most of the money from the state to start working on that, and that's going to be a $700,000 project funded, 600 through the state and 100 through the city that the council approved last year.
That's also ADA.
That is also an inclusive playground, and it's pretty awesome. We'll post the drawings, the renderings real soon on that once they're finalized.
They're holding up till after baseball.
Yeah, so after
Start that
baseball,
project.
so they really could start in July, but also July is a busy time for them with the schools. So they're gonna get through their school projects and then start on us in August. And it'll be about a month-long build to get it all done. And then last,
Month and a half.
yeah, well, they say a month. We're gonna
Depending
try to
on
hold it
weather
to
as
it.
well.
And then lastly, I think this is our last meeting, so happy Mother's Day to all of our moms out there in Harahan.
Councilman Buddy?
No report, thank you.
Councilman Johnson?
Okay, I'm just sitting here thinking a few minutes, trying to get my thoughts together. I believe it's the constitutional general alimony is the one that it's a 7.
And
That's
it's
the
4
one
now,
people
it's
can
like 4 or
raise.
something now.
I think that's the one we can raise to 7. I'm just sitting there, I was kind of, I mean, it's 30 years, we did back in the 90s, so I think that's the one we can.
Mr. Johnson?
We don't have to go bring it to the vote, we can do it, I'm pretty sure we can do it as a council.
What did you do yesterday?
Went to lunch,
You could have thought about that yesterday.
called a couple of customers, but I'm still working. I'm gonna call a couple of my people, went to lunch, and went home around 2 o'clock.
That's the life.
That's
the
When
life.
you get to be 77 years old, hopefully you can do it too. When I was, how old are you, 38, 40?
I'm hoping to do it before.
I was working 2
77.
jobs when I was 40 years old, so.
We're at 5 now, so.
Wow, you're right, the cost of things today.
Exactly.
I'd probably work at 5 too if I was 40.
These damn kids.
A couple of questions. I got a couple of calls I want to ask. 7608 Stone Lane, that house that we were talking about, the double, that has the two kitchens in it, and has we addressed that? They've been given back the permit to continue to build, and also their grass is high, and people complain, the neighbors complain about their grass being high, they haven't cut. But Chris, is there anything going on with that?
They went to regulatory court in, I believe it was August. They brought an attorney, we had a song and dance as usual. We managed to collect a $300 fine, and it wasn't the the argument they made was it wasn't the 4 years they've been renovating the house that's been the problem, it was the 1 month of stop work order I hit them with. That was preventing the lady from living in her house, which still, to my knowledge, is still not finished.
Right.
But their argument was that without a stove, it's not really a kitchen, so, but we haven't been back to inspect it any, and they haven't called for any inspections, so with no uncertain terms, the way we left it was, if we come there for a final inspection, and as a second apartment, and a stove hookup is going to be there, then we're not going to give you a certificate of completion. But this actually alludes to a bigger problem, is we have a chronic problem I've discovered in the past 7 months of permits that just don't get finalized out. And I'm trying to figure out ways to legally prevent that from happening, to get projects to closure, you know, within the scope of that permit. But I'm having to go back on a lot of old items that have been open for, in some cases, years.
Right.
And I'm gonna have to get with somebody about a better way to fine tune through some legislation as to how to bring those things in, because the way it sits now, you have a permit that's 6 months, is valid for 6 months. But once you start working on it, you know, every nail you drive, you start 6 months over again. And this isn't just Harahan, it's almost every place, to where a project could go on indefinitely if work is continuously being done. And, you know, people, we do understand people do run out of money and they run short, they have to pause and they have to reevaluate and change things. However, in my opinion, we get a lot of excuses rather than reality on some of these, especially older items where people, you know, self-contract their own houses and they really don't know the depth of what they're getting into, and they start renovating and it takes longer and more money and more money. So I'm gonna have to get with you guys, I guess. Maybe I'll send out an email first as to how we need to try to bring some of these things in and say, look, it's in compliance, it's finished, but it's gotta end at some point. We also have a problem with people who have moved in houses under temporary utilities, which were supposed to be temporary just to energize the house to finish them, and they move in. And then we never hear from them. And I have one that I'm gonna have to deal with very soon, and then you're probably gonna get some not nice phone calls about me, but we give them temporary power to finish the property and acclimate the inside, and they moved in. Well, in my opinion, as the town's building official, they're not finished. And in some cases, they may have done things that we can't approve. You know, this wasn't on your plans, we're not gonna approve this, you need to take it down or come and get a variance for it. But people just move in and they just move in. But in terms of the house on Stoneleigh, we have not been called for any inspections since it went to court. They paid for a $300 fine for the stop work order, but they were not given any additional fines, and they've been working on the property ever since.
So they've give permission to start working on the property again when you fine them $300?
We fined them $300 for a stop work order, which I refused to back down on because, in my opinion, they were building a two-family residence.
Right.
And I think that's the worst kept secret in town. However, they brought their attorney and we wound up settling it for $300 and allowed them to keep going with the understanding of we're going to come out there, we're going to inspect
You're
this
going to
property.
inspect and make sure they don't have a second kitchen.
So
Correct.
is a $300 fine basically just the administrative fee for the stop work order that was issued, kind of?
Per the ordinance, a stop work order is a $300 fine,
Okay.
just for having one placed.
Gotcha.
Now, let me say something, we try to avoid stop work orders. We like to say, look, you need to stop and do X, Y, and Z before it gets out of hand. I don't like to wake up every day fining people, I really don't. And I don't think that's the intention of the ordinance. The intention of the ordinance is a safe and sanitary house in the end for whoever moves in it. But it's also, you're building a house, it's gotta be safe for the end user, even if that you sell it, it's the next guy, it's still gotta be safe and up to code for him too. So, the stop work order is usually, and the fine for a stop work order is usually a temporary measure, and I don't like to do them because it does cost somebody $300 per the ordinance for just the stop work order. And if you did something you weren't supposed to do, that's fines on top of that and court costs. So far, I think we've only done 3 since I've been here, thankfully, and people have kind of made their adjustments they were supposed to get back within the confines of their permit.
Okay.
That answer the question?
So I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You're on top of it, that's the main thing.
I'm watching, I'm watching this one because I know the neighbors have had a couple of you, even before I was here, of what's going on with this house, and I'm on it. I'm on that one.
Councilman Ricks?
Oh, wait. And the other thing is that, that house over there on Generis, the gentleman called you and I, spoke to us, and Councilman Chatelain handled it, I think.
I spoke
You
to the owner.
the owner of the property, and she's supposed to move the container 10 feet from the fence.
I went
to help
further than
out.
that. I actually called River Parish myself and asked them to get it moved up
Okay.
10 feet.
I want to thank you for taking care of it.
No,
It's not
I
for me,
did-
for the property owner.
I did let the lady know this was a courtesy call, and, it wasn't reported. I'm calling her to let her know. If she doesn't, it will be reported to code, although I don't think there's a code violation. I did go by, the dumpster was cleaner than any dumpster I've ever seen, and she didn't know we were coming. She keeps it that clean all the time.
Yeah.
It was backed up a couple feet from the fence, the lid was open, it was hanging over the neighbor's fence. So I did ask her courtesy to ask River Parish to move the dumpster forward. Actually, I ran into one of the owners of River Parish last night at dinner, mentioned it to him. He called me today, gave him the address. He said he's gonna look into it, have it addressed.
Well, thank you for looking into it, take care.
Thank you. Councilman Ricks?
So, I do want to ask again about Colonial Club. I know 3 years, for a few months, I keep asking about,
Alcohol.
Aqua House. Nothing's taken place, we've had the dumpster apparently removed, but still it sits empty and rotting. Anywhere with that one?
And as long as he's keeping his grass cut and the property weathered in, I don't know what else I can really do. I understand, and I feel your frustration if I live next door to it. However,
Again, we have, a multi-million-dollar neighborhood going up across the street, and it's an eyesore, so is the other one down the street, that is empty and completely rotting and falling down. It's for sale at the moment. And I think they had a transaction taking place, I'm not sure how that went, but, both of those houses are a complete eyesore. And, it's hard to get, for the investor and the developer across the street, very hard to sell those lots that are facing those two homes. So,
I don't know how I can compel him to renovate the house, though, unfortunately.
well, I think that, from the standpoint, I don't know what we can do, but I think somebody, maybe, the parish got them to clean up on River Road, that was a total eyesore, maybe we should consult with them and see if there's,
Mr. Ricks, I'm gonna ask you to, I'll set up a phone call, we can talk to the legal counsel Stansberry and see what our next steps would be.
I previously asked Jefferson Parish, Mr. Sammy, about how we could work with them on some of the, not blight issues, but the hazardous conditions issues like junk cars with auto parts, things that the parish regard, tires piled up, things that the parish regards as environmental issues. And he responded back to me saying they would need a cooperative agreement with the city of Harahan. I don't know how to execute that, because there's several in this pile of files right here that I wanted to see if the parish, being that they have a more robust environmental hazard.
well, I know they've been fighting that one on
What would they
Hickory.
be?
They've been fighting the one on Hickory down there, at Hickory and Saw Valley.
Chances.
Been fighting that forever and a day, but, here again, it is a shame that good people who maintain their houses have to live next to, and I mean, that neighbor to the left has dealt with bees of, and all kinds of, varmints and everything else in his behalf. I don't blame him for, being upset every week, when I see him, and the other neighbors there, I mean, they're all the same, it's like, got a little hope, things started moving, and then dead.
Well, is this the one, the city paid for bee removal on this property, however, it wasn't cited correctly, so our attorney that I spoke with said that we would be hard pressed to collect for it because we paid for bee removal, which I understand is a hazard, and we want to get the bees out of there and also not kill all the bees.
Sure.
However, they weren't cited properly in advance, the proper steps were not taken, therefore the city essentially ate the cost without being able to recover it. And I don't remember the exact amount, it was several $100s at the time, but
Well, here again, you know, the people of Harahan foot the bill for one person who refuses to take care of their property.
But if it's property, if it's just blighted appearance-wise, I think I'm understanding you saying there's not much you think we can do. But if their property is rodent infested and the bees, for instance, had we done it properly, noticed them, cited them, we could have rectified the problem and then
correct.
corrected.
We have very narrow ways as a government agency, or a department rather, to do these things very narrow, or else we will run up the risk of paying for all of it and it getting thrown out.
Right.
And what I've been doing since I started here was I looked at some of the old citations. Every citation that I've issued since I've been here, even on the cases that people have complained about habitual offenders, I started with a new initial citation from start to finish, because I was unsure of any of the older things that if they were executed properly, because you want to spend hours on these things and go to court and have it get thrown out because one piece of paper was wrong. So what I did was, starting back when I first started here, was with initial citations. I took the old documentation and said, okay, is this property cleaned up? I go look at it. You know, the service station across from 7123 is one that's coming back next week and a half from now. So seeing services that were done, like basically like a ticket written out over and over and over again to a point where they're still stuck on the door and faded out. I said, okay, I don't know if these are done right, so I'm gonna take the ordinance, get with an attorney and do exactly the way it says. And I think we've had success so far getting it back in line. Unfortunately, a lot of the old costs, and I found a judgment that was unsigned in there for $1,000 that was unexecuted. And it's more than a year old, so it's done for, and I don't remember the exact house it was. It was a judgment that just simply, the judge would not sign it after it was granted. So we have a new judge. I think she's been very fair. I think she listens to everybody who comes in, whether it's the defendant or the city, and to play into anything else in the future on May 7th, anybody who, like neighbor-wise, who wanted to give commentary and speak, as long as the person didn't curse or start screaming or yelling, she has allowed every single neighbor who wanted to say, no, this has to change, this has been going on for X amount of years, she's allowed every person to speak. As long as they don't curse and start waving their arms everywhere and yelling and everything like that, because it's not a court hearing is not the same as this. You don't just say public commentary. It's got to be asked by the prosecutor, which he's done, and it's got to be allowed by the judge. So, with facts, and somebody brings in the pictures, she's taken into account, and I think that's fair. So, and it's not, she doesn't allow the city to be too hard on people, and she doesn't allow people to get away with just junk indefinitely and then nothing happens.
Right. Well, and I think, again, you know, every week I hear my neighbors complaining. Every week, you know, I continue to watch this travesty go south. You know, both houses, I mean, you know, the house down the way was left open. You know, it's a physical danger. There's no water in the pool, the gate's open. You know what I mean? It again, like Willie's talking about these scooters, you know, it's something, you know, one small
Those are probably
kid,
citable.
one small
An empty
kid.
pool is cited.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just relating that, you know, these people are very frustrated. You know, the one thing they asked me to do when I got in office was to get this taken care of. It seems like I'm spinning my wheels, my hamster wheel. So I'm just trying to find out what we can do physically, as, you know, or as a council to address this with either new ordinances or adopt some different laws or whatever we have to do to try
Like,
and.
I'm gonna recommend we sit down with Stansberry, Mr. Marino, the new judge. We sit down and have a conversation and see what legislation we need to put together. If it's there, let's find it, see what we need to do, make sure we all know where to go to force these laws. If it's not there, let's put some laws in place to handle it.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, something's gotta change.
Can I ask a question on what Mike's talking about? I remember a while back, they may have fixed it. I think Councilman Rick said, didn't he have a hole in the roof in the back of the house?
They did.
Did they fix that? Because that would be considered a problem. You could cite them on that. If they have a hole in the roof in the back of the house,
If they have a hole in the roof or,
if
believe it
they
or
have
not,
a leak in there,
if a door is missing on the back of a house, like we have one on Generis, which it actually was worse than it did we cited the first time, which I didn't think was possible because they paid a fine and then that's coming back around on the 7th. If the house is not weathered in, and weathered in is pretty broad, but it can be narrow too.
It'd be
If
boarded
it's
up.
boarded up and it, not necessarily habitable, but to where it can't go into a future state of decay, then that is citable. An empty pool that is not maintained or secured or filled with sand or built a platform over to where people can't go skateboarding in it, is citable. The issue we have is if the house is just ugly and not great looking and the shutters are falling off, but I know that one has it, if I remember correctly. We really can't do much besides say, hey, there's debris on the ground. They've been keeping their grass cut. I haven't been there past that this week.
Not like you think.
If it's more than 10 inches, then that's something
So,
also.
I mean, it's constantly more than 10 inches.
I
Both of those properties have been constantly.
I will go to both of them tomorrow at some point.
but if they have a hole in the roof in the back, that means birds can get in, bats can get in, and
Water can get in.
Water can get in, raccoons can come up there and get in. So that means they got things getting inside. That means the house can, the rats can get in, everything can get in there. So therefore, you can cite them on that.
We can.
You know, so we need to find out how to get one of the neighbors to let you put in their backyard where you can look up there to see, because they're not gonna let you in their backyard.
We can go in the backyard.
Excuse me.
For a code violation.
Ms. Arena, what time you come to work tomorrow?
9:30.
5 o'clock in the morning.
He'll be here tomorrow if y'all wanna come back and have these discussions. We're gonna get this meeting rolling.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get something done. I mean, it's just a shame that people have to deal with
Thanks
this.
for,
This,
Being patient.
the gentleman on that property, be prepared, he's gonna call all of them.
I know the guy. We all know the guy. We knew his
He
dad.
wanted me to give him a free permit, and I said, no, we're not giving you a free permit, and then the rest is it.
We know, believe me. We know.
We all know.
We all know.
Mark, I would like
Thank
to
you.
just say.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris, and happy Mother's Day to all the
Oh, yeah.
moms as well. I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope it's a beautiful weekend coming up.
I forgot. Happy Mother's Day.
You over there making fun of me for saying you forgot to say it yourself.
Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, guys, I have no report.
All right. Bills paid in March 2026, total expenditures $619,738.26. No executive session, adjourned.
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion by Councilman Asbill, adjourned. Second by Councilman Riggs, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Y'all have a blessing.